Hey everyone, Data here, and welcome to the NHL 25 career simulation of Detroit Red Wings prospect, Swedish defenseman Axel Sandin Pellikka. Sandin Pellikka was drafted 17th overall by the Red Wings in 2023, and since then, the young defenseman has played big minutes in the SHL, winning the league title in 2024 and even scoring 22 points in just 25 games so far in the 2024-25 season. With those incredible league results have come incredible national responsibility, as Sandin Pellikka turned out a huge performance at the 2024 World Junior Under-20 Championships, scoring 6 points in 7 games for the silver medal winning Team Sweden, and was even named the defenseman of the tournament before returning as captain for this year's 2025 Championships, where he has so far scored a hat-trick in the first game of the tournament just a couple of days ago, which made us think we had to get his career simulated ASAP. A huge thank you to Landon in the Discord server who simulated this career for us so quickly, so please leave a thank you for him in the comments. And while you're there, please let me know whose career that you'd like to see simulated next. So with all that said, let's get started. As always, everything in the simulation is completely hands-off, as we'll do nothing but observe how Sandin Pellikka's career unfolds and what the future has in store for the budding star. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any career sims or our franchise mode series among our many other videos here on the channel. Leave a like, and let's get this career started. So we begin this career simulation in what I'm calling year number 0, as Axel Sandin Pellikka in the real 2024-25 season is still playing overseas in the SHL. So while the game does play him in the AHL over the course of 2024-25, we're going to skip over this season and assume that in the real world he'd be staying in the SHL for the entirety of 24-25. Nevertheless, as a 19-year-old playing over in the SHL, he would be a 74 overall with medium league potential. The game starts him off with 3-star puck skills, senses, shooting, and skating, 2-star defense and physical. Of course, he got the 77 defensive awareness. 2-star defense, not great for a defenseman, but for the offensive defenseman at 19 years of age, he will hopefully grow in that aspect of his game over the years, and hopefully also be ready for year number 1, which will be 2025-26 once he comes over to North America. In year number 1, 2025-26, Axel Sandin Pellikka is ready for North American hockey, making the jump from the SHL to the AHL, as he'll start off on the first pair in Detroit's farm system with the Grand Rapids Griffins. He's playing alongside fellow Red Wings defensive prospect William Wallinder as a 79 overall with medium elite potential, listed as a depth defenseman, and his offensive side really grew over that first 24-25 season. Already 5-star puck skills with a 91 deking, passing, and puck control headed into his first season in North America, and that first season is a strong one for Grand Rapids as they finish atop their conference and 5th in the AHL with a record of 44, 19, and 9, as Sandin Pellikka logged over 24 minutes of ice time per night, scoring 6 goals and 30 assists for 36 points in 70 games. In the postseason, Grand Rapids did make it all the way to the conference final but fell to Abbotsford, who went on to win the Calder Cup. Not a bad experience at all, as Sandin Pellikka got to be a part of a couple of sweeps before losing in 6. Also in those 12 games, ASP logged 8 assists and was just a -1, as he maintains his 79 overall, but I'm sure we'll see some growth over the offseason in what will hopefully be his jump to the NHL. Year number 2, when Axel Sandin Pellikka does indeed make the jump to the National Hockey League, already being given top 4 minutes as he'll play the second pair here in Detroit with Simon Edvinsson on his left. At an 80 overall, now listed as a top 6 defenseman, still has that medium league potential, of course. Everything looks about the same except maybe the skating went up a little, but the attributes still look great for Sandin Pellikka with a 91 passing, puck control, and deking. And what a great year was for Detroit as they go 46, 29, and 7 to finish 9th in the NHL, making the playoffs in 2027. As Sandin Pellikka had a quiet rookie season, 19 points and -7, appearing in 79 games. Still getting the ice time though, that's what's most important. In the playoffs, the Red Wings had a tough round 1 matchup, losing in 7 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's tough. I'm sure it was some good experience for the young core here in Detroit, as ASP appeared in all 7 games in that round 1 matchup, scoring just 1 goal and sadly being a -5. After his rookie NHL season, ASP grows to an 81 overall, and we're looking forward to what should be some more growth headed into a sophomore season. Moving into year number 3, ASP's sophomore NHL season, he's still in the second pair here in Detroit with Simon Edvinsson on his left, but he does grow to an 83 overall over the offseason, now listed as a top 4 defenseman. Check out these attributes: 97 deking, passing, and puck control, 5-star puck skills, 4.5 shooting, 4-star senses and skating, 3-star physical, but still just the 2.5-star defense, unfortunately. ASP also on the final year of his entry-level contract, but it seems as though he has an extension ready to go. I'm not sure what the dollar amount is yet. We'll see after this next season. Good to see that that's already taken care of. In the regular season, Detroit once again makes the postseason, increasing from 9th best to 6th best in the NHL, going 47, 26, and 9. ASP has a much better sophomore season, scoring 5 goals and 27 assists for 32 points in a fully healthy 82-game season, and had an even plus-minus as well, which is always a nice boost. In the postseason, Detroit once again fell in round number 1, but this time in a 5-game series to the Leafs. The good news is that it was the eventual Stanley Cup champion Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, always EA Sports in the game in 2028, but sadly in those 5 games, Sandin Pellikka couldn't be the difference maker, just 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points. Honestly, not bad. That technically tied him for the team lead in defensive points, so at least there's that. At the end of his sophomore season, he's still an 83 overall, and will hope for continued growth moving into year number 4. Moving into year number 4, Sandin Pellikka does indeed see some more overall growth as he's starting off his 3rd NHL season as an 84 overall, still in the 2nd pair and still alongside Simon Edvinsson, some nice continuity for him. Here's a little peek at his attributes. Look at those shooting powers, accuracies, all that great stuff. And yes, his extension that I mentioned previously ended up being 3 by 4.715, paying him just over $14 million over the next 3 seasons. Detroit continues to improve as they finish 4th best in the NHL this season, going 52, 24, and 6. And Sandin Pellikka has a huge improvement, scoring 55 points, 13 goals, and 42 assists over 81 games as a plus 36 to boot. But in the postseason, Detroit once again falls in round number 1, this time in 6 games to Buffalo, who went on to lose to Florida, who lost in the Stanley Cup final. Sandin Pellikka in those 6 games in round 1 registered 3 assists and was a -2, but does grow to an 85 overall. Attributes looking fantastic. Look at the 99 deking, passing, and puck control. Oh my goodness. You got to think that there's just more of that to come moving into year number 5. Year number 5, and Sandin Pellikka's overall continues to grow slowly but surely as he starts his 4th NHL season now as an 85 overall, still in the 2nd pair, but now alongside Jake Wallman, as Simon Edvinsson's going to be playing top pair with Moritz Seider. Sandin, listed as a top 4 D-man with his 85 overall, has all of these fantastic attributes, but again, still just the 3-star defense, 83 shot blocking, 84 stick checking. All right, but doesn't matter? I don't know, because Detroit once again makes the playoffs with a great record, finishing 9th best in the NHL, going 46, 31, and 5, and Sandin Pellikka's numbers just keep getting better. 13 goals and 47 assists for 60 points as a plus 20 as well in a fully healthy 82-game season from the now 25-year-old who's still in that 2nd pair role. If he could just get some more minutes, maybe. In the postseason, Detroit finally makes it out of round 1 as they take down the Lightning in 6 games, but then fall in 5 to the Sabres in round number 2. So Sandin Pellikka finally gets a taste outside of round 1, but it's just a little nibble. Through those 11 games in the postseason, Sandin Pellikka registered 6 assists. That was a -1, as he once again grows just a little bit more, now up to an 86 overall. Look at these attributes. My goodness, this is an offensive defenseman's dream. Year number 6 now for Sandin Pellikka, and as I mentioned, slowly but surely now an 86 overall. Still playing 2nd pair though, and still Jake Wallman on his left. 86 overall means still top 4 defenseman role, and check out these attributes. I could just look at these all day long. Don't forget, by the way, ASP's final year of his contract. He signed that 3-year extension. This is the last year of it. So I don't know, is he content here in Detroit? Does he want more ice time? Does he want deeper postseason runs? We'll find out soon, but Detroit says, hey, if we got to convince you, let's convince you. They finished 3rd best in the NHL in 2031, going 56, 25, and 1, their best season yet with ASP. Sandin Pellikka, though, takes a bit of a step back offensively, 9 goals and 37 assists for 46 points over 81 games after he scored 60 last year, but still plus 25, still playing a big role here in Detroit. And in the postseason, the Red Wings once again make it out of round 1, but fall in round number 2 as they get revenge against Buffalo in 6 games in the first round, but then fall in 5 in round 2 again. So Sandin Pellikka has still never made it past game 5 of round 2 as Detroit falls to Florida. In those 11 games, Sandin Pellikka, just 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points as a -2. After that postseason, he drops back down to an 85 overall, showing regression for the first time in his career so far, and of course, don't forget, needing a new contract in the 2031 offseason. a huge change headed into year number 7 as Axel Sandin Pellikka signs a 4-year contract with the St. Louis Blues to join them as an 86 overall and play top pair minutes in St. Louis. Wow. I wonder if he got traded as an RFA, or he even got offer sheeted. I wonder what happened here. But ASP off to the Blues to play top pair with Ivan Provorov as an 86 overall, getting paid $7.32 million over the next 4 years. You see, he's ineligible for a clause in year 1, and then no clause in years 2, 3, and 4 of his contract. So I don't know if he got poached. I don't know if his rights were traded or what, but he's going to be making $29.28 million over the next 4 years, joining the St. Louis Blues and leaving the Detroit Red Wings as an 86 overall, still the medium top 4 D potential, still the 5-star puck skills, 5-star senses, shooting, all that great stuff. Now the question will be, what can he do when given the opportunity of top pair minutes, as he's betting on himself? He's leaving a very good Red Wings team, and it wasn't great results in the regular season of year number 7, his first year in St. Louis, as the Blues finished 3rd last in the NHL, going 30, 42, and 10 to finish 30th. Axel Sandin Pellikka, 10 goals and 32 assists for just 42 points as a negative 34 as well. Ouch, that's gotta hurt for ASP. As the Red Wings, by the way, go all the way to the Stanley Cup final, but lose and get swept by the Oilers in the 2032 postseason. Could have been different with ASP as a part of the team. We'll never know. Okay, year number 8, here we go. Axel Sandin Pellikka, still an 86 overall, but growing some superstar abilities for his 7th season in the NHL. Still an 86 overall, like we said, now exact top 4 D potential at 27 years of age. Look at all those attributes, 98 deking, passing, and puck control. But he now has the puck on a string, relentless, and seeing eye superstar abilities. Will anything change now he's playing top pair with Cam York instead of Ivan Provorov? Doesn't really look like it, as the St. Louis Blues finished 23rd in the NHL this season. Improvement, but still going 36, 41, and 5 to miss out on the postseason. Sandin Pellikka does show some improvement, finishing actually 2nd in team scoring with 12 goals and 43 assists for 55 points in 80 games as a negative 16, better than negative 34, I suppose. And he's got to be hoping for some reinforcements in the offseason. Year number 9 now, and Sandin Pellikka will once again deal with a new partner here in the top pair in St. Louis, as Christian Kyrou will be his partner for 2033-34. As an 86 overall, the attributes have pretty much stagnated at this point now. We've seen what he can do in Detroit. Can he replicate it in St. Louis? It's more the line mates that he needs, and it's once again a down year in St. Louis as they finish even worse than last year, 28th in the NHL with a record of 30, 42, and 10. Oh, and this is just ugly. A little warning here for anybody. 14 goals, 25 assists, just 39 points, and negative 26 through 78 games for ASP, who is showing such promise in Detroit. He maintains his 86 overall, and hey, even wins the Bill Masterton Trophy in 2034 as the player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. You definitely got to have some perseverance and dedication to hockey after these abysmal years in St. Louis. So maybe this is the motivation that ASP needed, and we'll see if that does anything moving into year number 10. Year number 10, and Sandin Pellikka once again has a new top pair partner in St. Louis for his 4th year on the Blues, as now Shai Buem, who he actually played with in Detroit, will be his partner as an 85 overall, so at least better than an 81 Christian Kyrou, I would think. As an 86 overall, ASP looks the same as always, and actually has an extension lined up for next season, as this is the last year of the contract he signed with the Blues. It carries a full no movement clause. We'll see what the AAV is after this season, and whew, that can't come soon enough, as the Blues finish 2nd last in the NHL, going 27, 52, and 3. Wow. To finish 31st in the league. Sandin Pellikka, oh my goodness, you thought it was bad last time. Look away. 5 goals and 24 assists. Just 29 points in 82 games. And block your ears. Negative 34 from ASP on the season. Wow. At the end of his 10th year and his 9th in the NHL, he's still an 86 overall, but good news, reinforcements are on the way, as I believe St. Louis lost the draft lottery, dropping from 2 to 4, but that was a blessing in disguise, as they get to draft a medium franchise 83 overall, who somehow dropped from 1 to 4. Medium leads were going in front of him, as an 83 overall medium franchise goes to 4. I have no idea how, but this is exactly what the Blues have been needing, and hopefully it's the firepower that ASP needs to get a little bit of rejuvenation moving into year number 11. Okay, year number 11 in ASP begins the 2035-36 season, now down to an 85 overall at 30 years of age. Makes sense after the last couple of seasons. And he's also getting to play with the same partner for the first time since Edvinson back in Detroit, as Buem is once again his partner on the top pair in St. Louis. As an 85 overall, he still has great attributes, but the defense, the physical, lagging behind still at 3 stars. I don't think that's ever really going to change, sadly. And by the way, the extension that he signed that carried the full no movement clause was a 4x8, paying him $32 million over the next 4 seasons. In the regular season, the Blues finally see some success, but still not the postseason, as they finish 18th in the NHL. A strong Central Division keeps them out as they go 41, 35, and 6, but it's just not enough. Sandin Pellikka at least was a plus player. Okay, 5 goals, 36 assists, 41 points in a fully healthy 82-game season, and he hangs on to his 85 overall status moving into year number 12. All right, year number 12, and now this is something to be excited about, as Axel Sandin Pellikka grows back to an 86 overall, gains the Thunderclap superstar ability, and now is playing alongside this guy Nyquist on the left, who has the Bouncer superstar ability, an 85 overall. I'm sure it's going to be helping chemistry with the X factors behind the scenes and all that as well. As an 86 overall, he still has the 97 deking, passing, and puck control, but some other attributes are going back up if you're keeping a close eye on some of, I think like acceleration went from 90 to 91, stuff like that. So he's still at just about the best he's ever been, and St. Louis still just can't get it done as they finish 19th in the league. Again, a strong Central Division as Seattle makes it in 20th, but St. Louis going 39, 32, and 11 just can't make it. Axel Sandin Pellikka, however, does return to his former glory that's been gone for a long time now. This is the guy that St. Louis signed. 9 goals and 55 assists for 64 points from the Swedish defenseman in a fully healthy 82-game season. So that's a sign of hopefully good things to come. He's still an 86 overall, but we got to see some postseason results in St. Louis. The whole reason he left Detroit. Year number 13, and all right, let's get excited about this one. To begin 2037-38, Axel Sandin Pellikka is up to an 87 overall, the highest that he's ever been at, and he now has 5 superstar abilities for Puck on a String, Relentless, Send It, Off the Rush, and Shrug It Off. Okay, I see you, ASP. Still alongside Nyquist in the top pair, now at 32 years of age. As an 87 overall, check out these attributes. They're the highest that they've ever been. 5-star puck skills, senses, shooting, 4.5-star skating, now with a 92 acceleration, but still just the 3-star defense and physical. Will it be enough to try and will the Blues into the postseason? And finally, yes, it is, as St. Louis makes the 2038 postseason, going 44, 32, and 6 to finish 11th best in the NHL. And Sandin Pellikka puts up career numbers. Yes, 7 goals and 68 assists for 75 points in 82 games, finishing second in team scoring, just a -3 though, unfortunately. Second in team scoring and tied for first in league scoring for all defensemen, as he ties this guy's Tarkey for 75 points. Tarkey likely wins the Norris Trophy as having the better plus-minus, but you would think that Sandin Pellikka would be the first runner-up, so that is big news for him in his career. But what matters most is the postseason, as the Blues have finally made it, and in the 2038 postseason, the Blues go on a run, but it's just not enough as they make it through the Blackhawks in 7, the Canucks in 6, but then fall in 7 in the Western Conference Final to the San Jose Sharks, who go on to lose to the Senators. Oh boy, in those 20 games on the furthest run of ASP's career so far, he scores 3 goals and 16 assists for 19 points through those 20 games as a +5 as well. And he even leads the league in defensive postseason scoring with those 19 points, but for some reason regresses back to an 86 overall. All right, and like I mentioned, Tarkey did win the James Norris, but you got to think that he would be the first runner-up. Year number 14, let's run it back in St. Louis. ASP still in the top pair, still with his 5 superstar abilities, still alongside Nyquist, 86 overall. Now listed as a top 2 defenseman though, as I'm sure the quality of defensemen in 2038 across the league in franchise mode is drying up like crazy. Attributes looking good, but his physical does drop to 2.5 stars. And in the final year of his contract, ASP signs a 3-year extension with St. Louis that we'll get to learn more about next season. Now in the regular season for 2038-39, the Blues go on a crazy tear to win the Western Conference and finish second in the NHL, going 50, 27, and 5. And check out ASP, who scores another 75-point season, 9 goals, 66 assists, a +10 in 81 games. And check out the franchise player David. Oh my goodness, 82 goals in 82 games. Do you believe that? With just 18 power play goals as well. The guy had almost 70 even strength goals. Ridiculous. But ASP a 75-point season. This is what I was talking about. You need the supporting cast, and that's what ASP got. Also leading the league in defensive scoring. Could it be a Norris Trophy? Let's cross our fingers. In the postseason, though, the Blues fall in the second round as they sweep Utah in round number 1, but then fall to the Preds in 7 in round number 2. In those 11 games, ASP was second in team scoring with 4 goals and 8 assists for 12 points, and was also tied for the league lead in defensive scoring in the postseason with Levchinov, despite playing 12 less games. Check that out. At the end of 2039, ASP is still an 86 overall, and yes, he wins the James Norris Trophy, the first piece of skill-based hardware in his career, as he now has the Masterton and the James Norris in his trophy cabinet. Who would have thunk it? This guy who was scoring 30-point seasons, he rises from the ashes and wins the 2039 James Norris. Oh, that feels good, but what would feel a little bit better if he could just get that Stanley Cup? Year number 15, and ASP no longer has Nyquist on his left. He's now playing with this guy Fritz on the top pair in St. Louis. He loses one of his superstar abilities as well. Still has 4 of them, though. Is all right at 34 years of age. Still an 86 overall. This is a top 2 defenseman with top 6 potential, though. So if the numbers aren't there, that could drop pretty quickly. 3-star defense, as the defensive awareness has gone up, but the shot blocking and stick checking down to 77 and 78 respectively. The puck skills, though, 99 deking, passing, puck control. It balances out. 99 discipline as well. How about that? And in the 3-year extension that he signed, it's going to be paying him $13.39 million per year, just over $40 million. A full no move clause in years 1 and 2, and then a 24-team no trade list in year 3 of that contract. In the 2039-40 season, the Blues finished 14th in the NHL. We're back in the postseason. 43, 35, and 4 was St. Louis's record. As ASP doesn't get back to 75 points, but I think we can accept 61. Just 3 goals, but 58 assists as well for 61 points in 78 games as a -4. Shout out to David, who has 72 goals season. And ASP's 61 points would tie him for 3rd in league scoring among defensemen. In the postseason, St. Louis surprisingly fell in round number 1 in a 6-game series to the Winnipeg Jets, the first time that ASP goes out so early, if he makes it at all. In those 6 games, ASP registered 5 assists, but was a -7, possibly a team worst -7 as well. Ouch. And he does drop to an 82 overall, moving into what will be year number 16. Year number 16, and for the first time since coming to St. Louis, Axel Sandin Pellikka is not on the top pair for the Blues, as he'll be playing second pair with Brunnicke, now down to an 82 overall, and Brunnicke has 78, so not the greatest company there. Sandin Pellikka at an 82 overall is listed as a top 4 defenseman, now at 7th D potential. Still the 5-star puck skills and shooting, which is great, but 2.5-star defense with 74 shot blocking, 2-star physical with 69 body checking. Ooh boy, he is literally just like silk mitts out there, so hopefully he's still getting some power play time or something before he continues to regress too much further. And in the 2040-41 season, the Blues thankfully returned to the postseason, finishing 13th in the NHL with a 42, 32, and 8 record. And hey, ASP says, don't worry about the attributes. 11 goals and 41 assists for 52 points in 75 games is a +10 to boot. Not bad at all for a player of his age and overall. And speaking of that overall, with the 70 potential, ASP drops to an 81 over the course of the season, moving into the 2041 postseason, which might be his last in a top 4 role. So cross your fingers, and in the 2041 playoffs, the St. Louis Blues do it! They go all the way and win the 2041 Stanley Cup, as the Blues take down the Preds in 6, the Jets in 6, the Flames in 7, and then the Bruins ultimately in 6 games to win the 2041 Stanley Cup. Axel Sandin Pellikka is a Stanley Cup champion, as he scores 18 points over those 25 games as a +11 to boot. David, obviously the Conn Smythe winner, but Sandin Pellikka played a big role leading the team in defensive scoring. He was also second in the entire league in postseason defensive scoring with those 18 at his age, still getting it done. 81 overall, 7th D potential, we don't care. But coming off of finally winning the Stanley Cup and now having just 2.5-star defense, 70 shot blocking, 71 stick checking, 1.5-star physical, is Sandin Pellikka content to call it a career, or will we run it back? No, we will not, as in the 2041 postseason, after finally winning Lord Stanley's Cup, Axel Sandin Pellikka decides to call it a career. Wow, at 36 years of age and an 81 overall, after 1,207 games played, scoring 134 goals and 611 assists, 745 points later, ASP is calling it a career. The Stanley Cup, the James Norris, the Bill Masterton, you know what? There are career sims that can go a lot worse than that. I'm really glad that he finally got that Stanley Cup. And you know what? The James Norris is just icing on the cake, because those are really hard to come by with the way that EA generates offensive defensemen. So at the end of 16 years and 15 NHL seasons, let's just break it down a little bit more for you. ASP ends as a negative 21, so not great in the end. Only 78 penalty minutes across over 1,200 NHL games. Can you believe that? See, like, look at this in 2039, 75 points and 0 penalty minutes. How can you tell me that this guy did not win any Lady Byng trophies? That is ridiculous to me. But moving on, he took over 2,300 shots, shooting at 5.6%. 21 of his 134 goals were game winners. 28 came on the power play. 127 of his 745 points were on the power play as well. In his career, ASP averaged 23:37 of ice time per night. That's crazy. He played over 28,000 minutes in just 15 NHL seasons, the majority of his seasons being like 25 minutes plus per night. So he was really reliable year in and year out. And you know what I didn't notice at all? With like his 75 shot blocking, Sandin Pellikka blocked 1,733 shots. Is that like, what's the point of the shot blocking attribute if a guy with 70 some shot blocking is going to block over 1,700 shots and like seasons of 170 blocks? Whatever. 991 giveaways to 405 takeaways. That's all regular season numbers. For the postseason, Axel Sandin Pellikka played 102 games across his 15 NHL seasons, scoring 12 goals and 57 assists, 69 points, a +7, just 14 penalty minutes, shooting at 5.4%, 8 power play points, averaging 23:30 of ice time, throwing just 16 hits. What? 16 hits over 102 games. Okay. And 139 blocked shots. And although he played only 15 seasons in the NHL, and the world will look very different come the 2040s, if we were to take his numbers and compare them to the record books of today, just against other defensemen in NHL history, his 1,207 games played would place him 37th all time, right behind Jack Johnson and ahead of Marcel Pronovost. His 134 goals would put him 62nd all time amongst defensemen, behind Eric Desjardins and ahead of Paul Reinhart. His 611 assists would put him 19th all-time among defensemen, behind Sergei Zubov and ahead of Victor Hedman. And finally, his 745 points would place him 25th all-time amongst NHL defensemen, behind Steve Duchesne and ahead of Mathieu Schneider. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 16-year career of Axel Sandin Pellikka, starting off in the AHL in 2025-26 with Grand Rapids, playing 70 games, scoring 36 points, then playing with the Detroit Red Wings over 405 games, 49 goals, 163 assists, 212 points, lots of regular season success, but not much in the playoffs, not making it further than Game 5 of Round 2. Through 40 games, he scored just 15 points, takes his talents to St. Louis. Maybe the Blues traded for his rights, maybe it was an offer sheet, but he spends the rest of his career with the Blues playing 802 games, scoring 85 goals and 448 assists for 533 points in St. Louis, scoring 54 points in 62 postseason games along the way, and finally getting that Stanley Cup in the final year before retirement. And I think it makes perfect sense. He could have played another year or two maybe, but at his overall, with the way things were going down physical wise and defense wise, going out on top makes perfect sense. And I love it when a career simulation works out that way. In the end, Sandin Pellikka played 1,207 games across 15 NHL seasons, scoring 134 goals and 611 assists for 745 points. And by the way, surprisingly, 1,733 blocked shots. His 82-game career average, if you take all of his numbers, would be 9 goals and 42 assists for 51 points per 82 games played and 118 blocks per 82 games played. So really crazy numbers, like some seasons of 75 points, some seasons of 30 points. It all evens out to 51 points per 82 games. And in the playoffs, 102 games played with 12 goals, 57 assists, and 69 points, as his personal honors are the 2034 Bill Masterton, the 2039 James Norris, and the 2041 Stanley Cup Championship. $105+ million along the way. Sandin Pellikka had an incredible career, and after he scored the hat-trick of the World Juniors that prompted us to make this career simulation, I wonder if some of these numbers might be realistic. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about this simulation? What makes sense? What doesn't make sense, and whose career would you like to see simulated next? Leave a like if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of all our uploads here in the channel, our NHL 25 career sims, our franchise modes, breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey and in the NHL 25 world. And hit that bell to be notified when those videos come your way, as well as when we're live streaming, as there's much more to come in 2025. Thanks again for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you once again in the next one.